Hey guys. So last time we were talking about choosing the right style of game and choosing the right mechanics to work for your game idea. So this week we're going to focus on writing those down. So the way you do that is through a game design document. The game design document is basically the blueprint for your game, but it's actually used for more than that. It's also used for communicating with teammates a little bit, sharing your idea with them and kind of giving them an idea of what to expect. But also, probably even more important than that, is that companies use the game design document in order to pitch their idea to the company so that they can get approval and funding for their game. So this is an official document, and even if you're working by yourself, you're just practicing, it's good to get into the habit of this because it can at least help you organize your ideas and help you maybe remember some things down the road that you didn't think about. So I decided, since this is kind of an important part, I would actually go into detail and show you an example of what these kind of things entail. So this is sort of the cover letter of the document. Of course, it's got the name of the game, and you can add in a little subtitle to it if you want to. You, of course, also want to, put your name on it or the names of whoever came up with the idea. If you've got a team name or you've got more than 2 people, that's fine. Just, put all the names there. The overview is the answer to the question, what is your game about? You can find an example of this if you look on the back of a game case. You'll see there's usually a couple of short little paragraphs there that kind of explain what the game is and why you should play it. So there's a couple things you want to answer here. First off, what is your game? Is it 2D platformer? Is it a 3D, whatever? Answer that here. And also, what makes it different from other games of the same genre? You'll kind of want to answer that there as well. You can also put in here, why did you decide you wanted to make this game? Which is what this little, what inspired you to make it, is there. In a previous video, we talked about the difference between features and mechanics. And so now you can really start thinking about both of those things and start writing them down here. And so you can see this one, for instance, has, unique weapons, tons of levels, epic boss fights, blah, blah, blah. Those are the kind of things you can put in here. You'll also see down here that we've got a little bit of concept art, which if you've got concept art for your game already, put it in there. If you don't have concept art, that's okay. You don't need it for your game document, but if you've got it, throw it in there, and it will kind of give the readers an idea of what you want the game to look like and stuff like that. And then, of course, you want to detail, who are the characters, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, who are some side characters, what are some standard common enemies that you're going to face, are there, who are the bosses, stuff like that. You want to go over what the game actually physically looks like. Are you going to have stuff on your screen that gives the player information, like a health bar and, what weapon they're using? If you're making an RPG and you've got some menu that you can go into in order to change your equipment and stuff, detail all of that here. Talk about what options you've got in that menu and what they're all there for. You also want to detail here, you want to say exactly how you plan on controlling the character. And, here we've got for the keyboard and for an Xbox 360 game controller. This, of course, is going to be customized to your game. If you plan on making something for mobile, for instance, maybe you want to put in here that you can use the touchpad, some sort of touch screen kind of thing. Here, you want to be able to split your game up into sections. If you're making a game like Mario, for instance, they've got World 1, World 2, Map 1, Map 2, that kind of thing. But even if you're making a game that has one giant sandbox kind of, one giant map, you can still split it up into sections. So like, the city, the beach, the mountains, whatever you've got. And then of course, getting into even more detail here, does your game have weapons that you can change out? What are the weapons and what are they good for? Why do I want them? Maybe I've got some sort of power-up. Maybe I've got some sort of special ability where if I hit, a certain key combination, then I can do something awesome. Detail all of that here. Now for art design, and of course we'll later talk about sound design and programming, they're all kind of similar. Are you doing 2D? Are you doing 3D? Are you doing pixel art versus doing flash? Are you doing realistic versus doing cartoony? What is your game going to look like? And you can also add in here what are some things that you know for a fact that you're going to need. You're going to need some animations to make it interesting, right? So, maybe you need an idle animation, maybe you can die, so you want some sort of death animation or something. You can detail all that stuff here. Sound design, what do you want your game to sound like? Do you want it to be happy and exciting? Do you want it to be scary? Do you want the players to know when they've walked into a trap? That's kind of all what goes here. You can also talk about sound effects. If you're making some sort of shooter, then you know for a fact that you need gun shooting sounds and explosions and things like that. So detail all that stuff here. Kind of the same thing for programming stuff. Are you using C++, C#, JavaScript? Are you using something that's specific to the game engine that you're working in? But also, do you have any sort of special features that the programmers specifically need to be able to create? You want to detail all of that here as well. And of course you want to talk about, if your game has a story of some kind, you don't need to write out the full script or anything, but kind of just give a general idea of what happens when. And, if you've got any special plot twists, you can kind of throw them in here or whatever. Now, this particular game design document is actually rather simple, which is fine if your game is kind of a smaller game. But if you need more detail, you can take a look at something more like this one, where it's got, let me scroll up here, where it's got the different versions. It's got, some common questions that you may want to answer. Why should I even bother playing this game? Why do you want to make it? What's different about it? Does your game have multiplayer in it? You may want to have a section for that. Does your game have, fast travel? Does it have a day and night or a weather system? Does it have a time system? Detail all that here. Do you need to specifically talk about, the way the camera works or the way the lighting works? Add a section for that. That's the purpose of this type of document. And so you really want to customize it for your game. And, if you need less stuff, if you're making some sort of puzzle game or something that doesn't require fighting, then take out the section with the weapons and the power-ups and stuff. That's fine. And so, like I said, this document is important for everybody to take a look at and everybody to kind of keep up with updating it throughout the process, because let's say that you decided you wanted to put in a feature for the programmers and the programmers run out of time or they can't implement that idea. Well, somebody needs to go in and take that out of the game design document, and it's expected actually to update this as you're going so that it's the most recent and the most accurate blueprint of your game. So you definitely, even if you're working by yourself, it's a good idea to practice writing these and to practice working from it, because they really do help keep you organized. And that's what we're really going to be talking about in the next video, is how important organization is. So if you've got any questions about this topic, or you've got any other topics that you want me to talk about, leave me your comments in the section below, and I will see you next time.